This is another episode of the Backstage Sports Podcast. I'm Joe Connor.
Ooh, I'm JT Harker.
Straight off the top rope. And today we have a very special guest with us. We might go way off the rails today because we are kicking it with one of our homies, one of our brothers. This is family, so we might get a little too comfortable today. If we do, please forgive us. Let's respect the resume like we say we always do on the show. So he is a phenomenal guitar player, producer. He has done a lot of work across genres from country to rock to pop. He just is as of late been working with his beautiful girlfriend who we all know and love, Alexandria Korn, or Acorn, which is her alter ego, her pop alter ego, producing some of her pop records. He's the guitar player. There we are. And he's Acorn. He's also known to be the guitar player for country rising star Sam Grove, who we also all know and love. But today he is backstage with us. His name is Alex Seller. Welcome to the show, bro.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on, bro.
You forgot he also does the most popular version of Hot Summer Nights.
Oh, yeah, he does.
That's right.
Man, if I
also find that.
I'm gonna play that at some point.
He also holds the blood alcohol level record at Stoney, Sacramento.
Yes.
29.
What was it? What was it, Al?
1E9.
1E9. So we were okay. So little full disclosure.
1E9.
We have toured. We've toured extensively together. Before he moved, he now lives in Nashville. But before he moved to Nashville, we toured extensively together. And we were in NorCal.
We were in Sacramento.
And Alex saw a what was the machine called?
Breathalyzer on the wall.
A breathalyzer machine, and he felt challenged. He felt challenged by the breathalyzer, and he went over and challenged the breathalyzer, and he won. He hit the record. What was the record?
Well, 1E9, which I think I don't know.
I don't even know.
I don't know what it is really, but I said 1E9 as I high-fived everybody.
You got 189, right? And that was 189.
Yeah.
Oh,
1.89 for those of you who don't know is more than double the legal limit.
It's high. It's really high.
That was a good one. I didn't dance with that guy with a feather boa though.
You didn't know.
No.
But Joe did. So we covered all bases. That was to this day out of all the shows we played, and we had a bunch of fun, but that one was the most fun I think I had. That was brilliant.
Easily. That was
a good one.
Yeah. And I was completely stoned in the car for half of it. Sitting by myself.
What was that? So the first trip up there, Joe, was when our van got broken into and your shit got stolen, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that was that trip though.
That was the first one, and then that trip was when we played downtown LA and it was hot as balls.
Yeah.
And then we went up the next day and played near Sacramento, and that was hot as balls.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And then the next day we played Stony. Like he booked the last minute, right, on the side room.
I think so. Yeah.
That was 114 up there or something.
It was hell up there. So you're in Nashville right now. Tell us a little bit about what's your new normal like. What's it like up there in Nashville? I had a couple of friends that I was doing a project with a couple weeks ago, and they came back to LA from Nashville, and they were saying that they were telling me a story about how Nashville was open, and when they opened, everybody kind of went out and then was like, all right, we did that, and then went back in. So they were like, so but Nashville is like pretty much open and everything. So what's the situation with Nashville, and what's it like with the business down there?
Oh man, everything really is wide open here, but it's supposed to be half capacity. But the problem is they let everybody in anyway, so it keeps getting shut back down. Like if you go downtown, it's shoulder to shoulder in every bar with no masks or nothing.
Oh my god! Oh, but they still have the mask mandate though.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. This place is full. It's like Southern Florida, but in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Yeah,
So what's the so I know that your band Sam's band Sam Grow has been doing some spot dates here and there. What's the situation like with the work? Is it just like sparse like it kind of is here, or I know they opened up Broadway. I heard
Broadway's
that guys
open.
are back playing on Broadway like all night now, and they're open like all hours again, right?
Oh yeah, but for us, we played 90 shows last year during the pandemic.
Damn, during the pandemic?
Yeah,
Last year, like 2020, not 2019. Because
2020 we
I
played
often skip it.
91 or 92 shows. But it
Damn.
was just me and him acoustic, and he put out a feeler for people to book us private. So it wasn't venues,
I
we'd go to
saw that.
houses.
Yeah, you guys were doing like backyard shows and going to different spots, little events and stuff.
Yeah, we didn't have the bus or anything. We took his truck and we drove everywhere, did all
Uh-huh.
these little shows, and then now venues are starting to book us back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we have like 9 sold out shows coming up in April.
Wow, that's
but it's
awesome.
still acoustic.
Oh, so still not full band stuff yet.
No, I think that's going to be June.
Okay. Yeah, I mean shows are coming back. I have a tour that's coming up with Otherwise. If you guys haven't gone and get
Hell
tickets
yeah.
and check that out yet, we have a tour next month in April. We're going to all the red states, and it's just gonna be a bunch of Trumpers there. So that'll be awesome. But we'll be working. And then yeah, I saw our buddy Joe Davini is playing with Tyler. They booked a show. It might be Stoney's Vegas out here. And I think that's full band.
Dude, I'll be there in 2 weeks.
Oh, really? Are you guys doing
Yep.
full band? Oh, you guys aren't doing full band though.
No, it's acoustic.
Okay.
Yeah. Toad was texting me the other day talking about how they're getting it going again. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a couple of weekends already booked out over there in Vegas and at Stoney.
Damn.
So and LA has just allowed indoor dining starting this week, and they're allowing some concerts to come back. So we're gonna see some concerts come back. I was on the last project I was on when I was out with Diamante. You know, her boyfriend plays for
Hell
Lit.
yeah.
And he was telling me that they have some shows coming up that they booked. They're in like some offbeat towns. We were joking about it. They were like in the middle of
Play for Lit.
drums. He plays drums for Lit.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, great guy. And he said Lit's like, they picked up some full band-aids, and they're about to go in the East Bubblefuck, somewhere and do like some festivals.
Those Popoff brothers own the Slide Bar where we used to play.
Oh yeah.
In Fullerton?
Yeah, they own the bar.
Oh wow, that I did not know that.
That guy that would hang out with us he wasn't the singer, he was like the bass player, I think, the brother.
The guitar player.
Oh,
Jeremy
wow.
Popoff.
Yeah, Jeremy Popoff.
Jeremy Popoff.
I mean, maybe they sold it now. I don't know, but
Slide Bar was awesome. I like playing. Their food was good.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was a cool spot. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's a good thing though. We'll see some shows coming back, and maybe some local spots opening up too, and starting to do some more stuff, because so far it's just been Trump County, USA out here that's been having shows in Orange County. That's it, and nowhere else.
They don't care.
And nowhere else. Just Orange
shout
County.
Shout out to Big Shots and Rembrandts, because they've
been going since March. It feels like they're like, what pandemic? They've been rocking out. So that's interesting. But it's funny because Alex was talking before we hopped on. Alex was talking about Nashville being born, and I was just talking about how I want to go. I miss Nashville. I'm like, maybe not. So
yeah,
it's all perspective, right? Because Nashville, it's a lot of the same stuff. So it's
a lot of the same stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Get a little bit boring, but then if it's pandemic, it's just extra.
Yeah.
People are out, but Alex ain't playing Broadway.
Right.
So it's not like Alex. It's not like Alex is out. You know what I mean?
Right. And once you've been to Broadway, you've been to Broadway. So.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm not gonna
never changes.
I'm not gonna go back to Nashville and just be on Broadway all weekend. Like
hell no.
I'll be in Alex's living room more than I'll probably be in
That's
Broadway.
Right.
Having a ball with Seamus. Seamus is Alex's dog, by the way.
Hey Joe, but before, just FYI, just letting you know, my battery's at 24% and it drains quick. So just letting you know.
Okay.
If you lose me, that's why.
Oh, okay. Okay. So let's get a move on then before his.
I also give a shout out to the Westlake Hills White Sox.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The unis today.
How about that? Look at that.
Boom.
The
Oh, so
superstar
you're-
Austin Hawker.
God number 14.
The White Sox might finally have a chance at winning something.
Yeah, exactly. Tell me the White Sox don't have the most badass uniforms of all time.
Yeah, that's dope.
Right?
That's super dope.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. We got a lot to get into, but I warned you guys that we would get off the rails today. So I didn't lie. Real quick, jumping into the MVP race. They were talking about Joel Embiid being a front runner the past couple of weeks.
I call him Mr. Glass.
I said this. I said it. That's his superpower. He's Mr. Glass. Which is appropriate because me and the wifey were watching the Avengers this weekend, and he's maybe a new superhero. You know, maybe that's his new thing.
Mr. Glass. Joe, did you see the what were the movies? Alex, you know the movies I'm talking about, right? By M. Night Shyamalan. The ones
Signs.
No, the ones with Mr. Glass.
Oh, Mr. When they were on the train.
Yeah, exactly. One I think was Mr.
Shattered.
Glass. Shattered. But there's three of them. They're badass movies, dude. But Samuel L. Jackson plays Mr. Glass. It's badass.
Oh, I want to.
Oh
see
yeah.
They're good
but
movies.
anyway, Mr.
Shit.
Glass, aka Joel Embiid, suffers a bone bruise and is expected to be out 2 to 3 weeks. This is why I said I didn't think he was going to be. He wasn't my MVP front runner, but I thought that his issue was going to be staying healthy. He had already been. I didn't like him for MVP over LeBron at the time that we initially talked about this, JT, because he had already missed 6 or 7 games at the time that we had this conversation a couple weeks ago. Now he's going to miss more games and more weeks. Who knows? 2 to 3. He's set to be reevaluated in 2 weeks.
I would also like to add that in the last 15 years, Joe Carter has not liked anyone for MVP other than
This is accurate. I somebody bring me somebody who deserved it. Okay. I still haven't found them. Okay. So yes, this is true. Don't dispute that at all. So I guess the question is, will him, for me, the answer is yes, but I'll throw it out there. Will him being out, suffering this bone bruise and being out 2 to 3 weeks hurt his MVP chances in your eyes? Because for most people had him as a front runner, and so I'm not sure how far out they had him, but
yeah, I'll give the easy answer, which we all know is true. If he comes back and he's fine and plays like he did before, and the Sixers still nab, which is an if, but I think even if they end up in second in the East, I think he still gets it solely because if the Lakers end up 4th or 5th, which in the playoffs doesn't really matter anyway, but if they do, I just think for the votes for regular season MVP, LeBron won't get it for only that reason, not because he doesn't deserve it. But yeah, I think he still gets it. But dude, I'll tell you, in my opinion, who I think really should be, even though it's a weird year, he missed some time because of switching teams and all that. Dude, James Harden is incredible.
yeah.
I look at their numbers every day they have a game, and every day I look at his numbers, it looks something along the lines of, I think this was the other night, 31, 15, and 15. That's insane.
Yeah.
Those are insane numbers. 30, 18, and 12. I mean, every night he's doing this thing. It's insane.
My thing with James Harden is disqualified because of all the bullshit that he pulled in Houston. So I can't have him seriously talk about him being a real contender in MVP race, because he just kind of bullshitted around for, I don't know, what was it, 6, 7, 8 weeks, a couple months there in Houston, and then kind of pissed his way out, threw a temper tantrum, and ended up in New York with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. So to me, it's nah.
Yeah, I feel you. But the numbers are crazy though.
Yeah, but his numbers are always crazy. He's a walking joystick. It doesn't
I've never seen this complete of numbers though on a nightly basis. And I think just bringing him up to play point is he's just scores when he wants to, not when he doesn't have to anymore. It's incredible to watch.
Yeah, he's been balling. I'm not gonna take that away from him, but to me, it's just it's not really taking his year in totality into it, I'm not really like impressed by it. You know, he like I said, he's playing alongside Kyrie. KD's been out in and out of the lineup, but
let me ask you this, Joe. If let's say the Lakers end up in 4th or 5th in the West, do you still say it should go to LeBron?
well, it depends on how everybody else is playing. Like to me,
Yes.
almost. To me, who else deserves it? If they end up 4th or 5th and the MVP race is kind of the same, where you have like, you know, who else would deserve it, right? So you have Joel Embiid, who's been injured. You're not going to give it to James Harden. Is disqualified to me. I haven't even seen a precedent of somebody doing. We talked about it a while ago. The only thing that's comparable to me was Vince Carter, and Vince Carter had that record-setting year, but he like pissed his way out of town, ended up in the Nets, I think, and he finished 3rd or 4th in MVP voting. So it's like the precedent isn't even there for James Harden to do what he did and then be a serious MVP candidate. So to me, James Harden is disqualified. And then after that, it's like, who are we realistic? I mean, we're not Giannis. Not, it's not going to be Kevin Durant or somebody like that. Well, so to me, it's like,
even if the Nets end up 1st in the East, though.
Yeah, it's the East. The East is the biggest shit show this year to me than it's been in forever. The 76ers are a team that you thought weren't even going to make the playoffs as 1st in the East right now.
Yeah, but you think
Milwaukee, who underachieves, is after them, and then you have Miami, who what the fuck is going on with Miami? Same thing with Boston.
They're doing exactly what I told you they do. They're now in 4th.
Yeah, they are, but that's what I'm saying. Like they're just unpredictable and they're kind of all over the place. It's just a so being 1st or 2nd in the East isn't impressive to me at all.
The East is a bigger shit show when you've got the Clippers, who we saw what they did last year, and the Suns and the Jazz are in the 1st and 2nd seed in the West.
Yeah, the Clippers are actually a good team.
Yeah, but the Jazz and the Suns,
are also really good teams.
But no one expected them to be 1 and 2.
Right.
They're not supposed to be ahead of the Lakers and the Clippers.
Right.
That's not a shit show.
No, why is it? Because they're overachieving? That doesn't make it a shit show.
Well,
we're talking. The difference is we're talking about teams that vastly underachieve in the East, and right now in the West, we're talking about teams that are overachieving. So that makes the difficulty is higher in the West because those teams are actually you have not only the teams that people thought was going to be there, like the Portland Trail Blazers and the Denver Nuggets and the Clippers, who you knew was going to be there from last year, but now you have teams that we saw getting better. The Phoenix Suns ended their year in the bubble on like a 8-game win streak. No one they didn't even lose a game, and so they came back and they're 2nd in the West.
I agree that the West is stronger top to bottom. I just don't think the top, like the Jazz and the Suns being 1st and 2nd, was not supposed to happen. I
agree. That's not a demerit on the West.
To me,
that means that they're overachieving.
To me, that's just as much of a shit show as the Sixers, who actually, on paper, actually are a very good team, and Embiid playing like a maniac is, that's the makings of a 1st seed, and the Nets are obviously the making of a 1st or 2nd seed.
The shit show is the teams that are, as of a couple weeks ago, the playoff picture in the East only had 3 teams that were over 500. You being good isn't a shit show. You being 28-10, which is the Utah Jazz record, is not a shit show. You being 26-12 is not a shit show. You being 17-22 and being in a race for the 8th seed is a shit show. You being 20-20 and being 7th place in your conference and about to make the playoffs, that's a shit show. That's what I mean. You like the Hornets.
Isn't the West the same thing? The Mavericks are an 8th at 500.
No, the 8th team are the Mavericks. They're 20-8. They're 20-18. And then you have San Antonio in the 7th seed, who's 20-16. Portland is 22-16, which is a good team. Then you have Denver at 23-16. These are all great teams. These are teams that would blow out, that will sweep any team in the East.
The Mavericks will not sweep any team in the East, but they're 2 games above 500.
Yes, they're in the 8th seed.
Okay, they're 2. I mean, but I'm just saying that's barely above 500.
The 8th seed in the Eastern Conference is not above 500. That's my point. That's what I'm saying. Like you have teams that don't have winning records that are for sure going to make the playoffs in the East. That's a shit show. You all the bottom of the East in the Western Conference is basic.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not saying the East is equal top to bottom to the West. I'm just saying I don't think it looks like that big of a shit show. The teams that a lot of people thought would be on top are on top, and the teams that maybe not everybody picked, but I picked a lot of these teams to be in the playoffs because they just look better. The Hornets I picked to be in the playoffs. Everyone's all up. Oh my God, the Hornets.
They're not good teams though. That's what I'm saying. The Hornets wouldn't be in the playoffs if they were in the West. That's what makes it a shit. That's what I'm saying. Like these aren't good teams. The East is a shit show because Boston has been super inconsistent all year and has been underachieving. They're fifth. They're gonna, they're a shoe in for the playoffs. Miami super inconsistent all year. If you watch them play, they're not a good team. They're fourth. The Buccaneers, who underachieve every year in the playoffs, are third. The Brooklyn Nets, whose starters we can agree that the Brooklyn Nets starters haven't even played a consistent 5-6 games. They're second in the conference. That would never happen in the West.
But didn't we expect Milwaukee and the Nets to be in the top 3 seeds?
Yeah.
In Boston to be in the top 4?
Yeah, the point is,
they're there and we expected it. When I think shit show, I think like, oh my God, like this is not what was supposed to happen, and it's happening. That's not my definition. Something being unexpected is just unexpected. Like the Phoenix Suns being in the 2 seed is just unexpected. It's not a shit show because they're a good team. Look, their record is 26-12, and they're in the West. That's not a shit show. That just that's not a shit show. That just means that they've overachieved, which is just them being good. It's just the Western Conference where your competition is tougher. You had I'm not surprised by the Phoenix Suns because we talked about them last year and I saw how they played at the end of the bubble and then they brought Chris Paul there. I expected the Phoenix Suns to be good. I didn't expect them to 2 seed, but that doesn't make them a shit show. A shit show would be if they were 3 games under 500 and then they were in the 6th seed. Like that's the shit show to me, especially when you have all of these teams. Everybody in the West everybody that's in the playoffs seating in the West is expected to be there. All these teams, Dallas, San Antonio, Portland, Denver, these are all solid teams. The Clippers, the Lakers, they're all solid teams. I expected all of them to be there. Okay, yeah.
So I'm not moved by, the Brooklyn Nets, being in the 2 seed or James Harden scoring 30 every night because he's playing the New York Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks. Like, I don't care about that.
But the NBA, they play the Western Conference too.
Yeah, but they don't play them as much. So you can pad your numbers on the bottom feeders, which is the same thing that everybody said about the East when LeBron was there. Now, nobody was talking about. I don't want to hear nothing about they play the West too, because nobody said that shit when everybody was trashing LeBron for running through the East when he was.
Well, I like to distinguish, as I always do, that I'm not everybody, so don't take it out on me. But but I do think that the East has gotten better at the top than it has been. I don't think it top to bottom is great, but I think the top has gotten better. Because I like the Heat, I like the Nets. I mean, I pick the Nets.
The only team that's better to me is the Brooklyn Nets. The Sixers are the same to me. They're just taking advantage of the East being trash, which is kind of what you thought at the beginning of the season.
No. The Sixers are way better than they were last year.
I don't agree with that. I just think the East is a mess. Like, I don't think that they're not astronomically better than they were last year. I think that they're taking advantage of Milwaukee taking a step backwards. Milwaukee didn't get better; they got worse. The Heat kind of just leveled out. The Boston Celtics are underachieving. You have the Hornets that are overachieving. They're a bunch of young talent. They're years away from actually being a contender. They're cute. Then you have the Nets and the Hawks.
Well, they're in the 6th seed. You're not supposed to be contending in the 6th.
In the East, you are. That's the point.
No, you don't. No.
Why wouldn't they? Why? What team in the East would keep them from the 6th seed?
What team in the East would keep them? What do you mean?
Like,
I'm saying if you're a 6th seed, you're not expected to be competing. You're not supposed to be competing for a chip.
No. That's what I'm saying. No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that they're in the 6th seed and they're cute, but they're not a real contender. So there's no team in the Eastern Conference to me that is rocking anybody's world that would make Philly being in the 1 seed super impressive. Like, I expected a lot of this. We talked about this in the summertime. Like, I expected this to be a shit show when we were arguing about the Sixers making the playoffs. I said, not only are the Sixers going to make the playoffs, they're going to be a higher seed because the East is a shit show. I remember saying that in the summertime. We having almost the same argument in the summertime because I knew that the East would pan out like this. It would be a mess.
So let me ask you this. Where would the Nets be in the Western Conference right now?
Right now, they would probably, what's their record? Man, they would probably be in that 4th or 5th seed with the Clippers in Denver.
Okay. So do they have a chance to win a championship, or do they have not a chance in hell?
They have a chance. I mean, they're going to come out. They're going to come out of the East, so they're going to be in the finals. So if you make it to the finals,
you have them beating the Sixers.
I think they could. I mean, I didn't. We didn't play out those scenarios, but sure. I mean, the Sixers, their best player can't stay healthy. This is the point. This is my point of calling the Sixers. The Sixers are the #1 team in the East right now. Their best player is going to be out 2 to 3 weeks, and we just talked about how he was the glass man. So this is what I mean by the East being a shit show. That's your best team,
Mr. Glass.
Well, whatever. So moral of the story is, it's Joel being out is for sure going to hurt his MVP cases. We think.
Yeah, he's done. He's not getting it.
Yeah, I don't.
No way.
I don't see that happening.
First of all, what is a bone bruise? How do you bruise a bone?
I don't know. Ask Glassman.
I've actually had several bone bruises. It's just a different type.
Oh, there you go.
Wait, what?
You're going, and then it accidentally slips out, and then you jam it. And it like cracks even, and you're like, son of a.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. That actually makes sense to me.
Different.
I don't know how you. I thought that he actually pulled something or tore something. The way
it looked bad.
His knee went. If you could see.
Yeah.
If this is if my wrist is his knee did that.
Yeah, it looked.
And
bad.
I was like, your knee's not supposed to do that. So I thought that he tore something.
Yeah, it looked bad.
I don't know. I guess a bone bruise is just another way of saying.
Although that is a hyperextension type of thing.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Typically, those aren't supposed to be as serious, but the way he went down, and how big he is, and how much power is coming down on those legs, I was like, I don't know, this looks pretty bad. But
yeah, it didn't look good. So we'll see how that plays out, but who knows how the East is going to play out right now. Like you said, Miami is coming on. So
I know how it's going to play out. The Nets are going to destroy everybody, and then they're going to go win a chip.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Slow down on the chip part. But the Nets,
slow down on the chip part.
them coming. You slow down. The Nets,
you tell me to slow down. Slow down.
I can't breathe, y'all. The Nets, it looks like the East is paving the way for the Nets because everybody's such a mess. They're either a mess or they're young, and so that's just gonna lead the way for the most stacked team in the league.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you what. Come playoff time, the Heat are gonna be nasty again. I mean, they're already looking at. They've been on a big winning streak. They're going to be nasty. Milwaukee, we'll see if they've improved. Hopefully they have.
They ain't going to do nothing.
The Celtics are as experienced as anybody.
The Celtics are worse. The Heat are.
But come playoff time, it's not regular season. All those teams will be ready. The Nets obviously are going to be legit, and the Sixers will see.
The best prediction of future behavior is past behavior, and all the Boston Nets have done in the past playoffs is choke and underachieve. They've done it for. The Boston Celtics. They might as well be the Boston Nets. Who knows?
I have a different take on that because they're not supposed to have been winning championships already. I know they're ahead of.
No, they were supposed to at least make the finals.
They were never supposed to make the final.
They were. They had Kyrie Irving. Everybody was raving about him. They had all this talent. Then it was, you got Jalen.
Well, but that was because they overachieved the year before, so the expectations blew up. Because without Kyrie, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but that was like super young. You know what I mean? Like they were not supposed to be there. So then everyone's like, oh, now they're gonna get Kyrie. Gordon Hayward's gonna come back.
The projection that they were on was not what they are now. If you talk to a diehard Boston Celtics fans, Boston Celtics fans are disappointed. 100%.
Oh, of course. Yeah. If you're a Celtics fan, you're disappointed.
Yeah, they're not on the trajectory that I thought they would be, and most people thought that they would go. I saw Jason Tatum taking leaps and bounds over where he is now, and now it's like, is he the star or is Jaylen Brown the star? It's like who knows what's going on with them.
Yeah, that's true.
Quinn Cook sent out a tweet that went viral, and it was basically asking about Magic and Larry Bird versus LeBron and KD. And he said, who would win versus this. He said, you know who I'm taking in the tweet. And, people argue for days, literally, about this.
In 2-on-2?
In 2-on-2,
Yeah.
Magic Johnson, Larry Bird
That's
versus
ridiculous.
LeBron and KD. Who you taking? Al, who would you take?
Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
What? Over Bron and KD? No.
That's right.
No.
That's right. I'm telling you, man, those 90s players, they were magical.
Yeah, Magic is true to his name, but I think for me it's the talent and the size, right? You have 7-foot Kevin Durant, right?
Is it like them meeting up today and playing, or is it Larry Bird and Magic Johnson from 20-something years ago?
No, in their prime. Yeah. I'm assuming they would be in their prime, not like 68-year-old fucking Magic Johnson. He would die.
Larry Bird has heart problems. He can't go out there and play.
Yeah, no, that's not it.
Okay. I'm going to tell you who would win, and I'm going to tell you why. Well, first of all, when you're talking about players this great, a lot of times it comes down to who you give the ball to first. Because if Larry Bird, if Larry Bird is on a Larry Bird night at 6'9" with that high release, he's not going to miss. So
right,
I wouldn't pick them. But if Larry Bird, it's like Steph Curry. If Steph Curry's having one of those nights, no one's beating him because he's can throw it like this over his back from half. But this is reality. In a 2-on-2 game with those four guys, you've got LeBron James. First of all, it's going to end in a fight because all Larry Bird is going to do every time LeBron goes to the hoop is foul the shit out of him to the point that they're going to be in a fist fight. So the game's never going to end. But you can't stop LeBron James going to the hoop because he's way too fucking big. Yeah. He's bigger but he's as tall as Larry Bird, but he's bigger, right? And then you've got Kevin Durant at 7 feet tall who can shoot from anywhere on the court. And they can both play defense. So I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer, but at the same time, of course, Magic and Larry would have something to say about that. I mean, they're two great players.
Yeah, I don't think it's, we live in an era now where if you like one thing, you hate the other, right? If I say, I like the way JT sings, and it's like, why do you hate how Alex sings? And it's like, that's not what I said. Like, that's not at all what I said.
The other thing with these debates too is people take, and I get it, it's a mindset of, are we going Larry Bird and Magic, how their games were, that's it? Or are we going how Magic and Larry, if they grew up in today's game, would play today's game with their skill set?
That's true. It is played way different now.
Yeah, but my thing is, we just got to take what we saw, because then this is already a fantasy type of question, right? But I think when you start trying to predict what people would do, then it gets in. Now we're talking about aliens and all types of. It's weird, like it gets super weird. Like people talk about that all the time when we talk about stuff like, the 3-point percentage that so and so had, and then people go, well, Jordan would shoot 60% from three, and it's like we don't know that because now we're giving them attributes. We got to talk about what they were when we saw them play.
No, for sure, it gets weird. But the crazy thing is this: like we just saw, led by Steph Curry, the 3-point game completely morph into a totally different thing. I mean, he literally changed the game. It's crazy.
Yeah.
When Larry Bird was in the league, they had just adopted the 3-point line. So, it stands to reason that if the 3-point line had been around his entire life, by the time he's getting to the league, he's shooting from it's a different game to him. But games as is, Kevin Durant and LeBron James are beating Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Yeah, as is. There's Larry Bird he was a great shooter. He was a good passer.
Great at everything.
I would pray for him if LeBron James was running at him full speed ahead. I'm sorry, the physicality does not match up at all. And then you have Magic, who was tall, was a tall point guard, a sizable guy. But then you have Kevin Durant, who's 7 feet tall but can shoot like he is Larry Bird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now we're talking about these hybrid players, that have they're all of these older players combined on steroids. That's what they are. Like LeBron James is some version of like Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan and Karl Malone, you know what I mean, all put together, right? So him versus one of them really isn't fair, you know what I mean? So we just got to go from what we see today. Like I can't go, well, imagine if Reggie Miller was today. He would just train and he would be as big as LeBron. Like, I don't know that. Like, who fucking knows what he would do,
That's true. But when I do hear the debates, like how would this player play in today's era, you kind of have to do that because it's a different game. The rules are different.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are different. So
the rules being the rules I can get with them adapting to rules. Like if you tell me they wouldn't be able to hand check Michael Jordan, so he might score more. That to me isn't crazy. But to give him attributes, which is to say his mentality would have been completely different. Michael Jordan used to go smoke cigars before games, right? So
damn right.
who's to say that he would train differently? Because if he, you know what I'm saying? Like now we're changing his mind and his personality, and you know what I mean? He had the personality of I'll do whatever the fuck I want to do because I'm great, right? So who's to say that in 2021 that personality would change and he would start eating keto and start drinking green shakes before? I don't fucking know that. Like it's just so. Listen, now when you add attributes to people, that's when it just gets like that's to me that's very different from saying something that the way the game is called would allow, that connects the dots. If you say they can't hand check him, so he would have an easier way to the basket. That doesn't change his game. That just changes like how he responds to people who are playing him, which makes sense to me,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
It's interesting, but these debates are never ending.
Now, if we said Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, I would go with Michael Jordan and Larry Bird.
No, Jordan and Pippen versus LeBron.
No,
Pippen would be interesting, but I just don't think either one of those guys could guard Jordan. That would be the tough part.
Yeah, I think. Oh, for sure. I think for sure, LeBron in his prime would sit in a chair on Jordan. 1,000%.
He could defend him.
Hell yeah! Look how he defends now. Look how LeBron is defending now in year 18. In year 18,
he's a great player. He's a great player, but
he's 50 years old, and he's the number one in defensive win shares in the league. This is in year 18. Right, people underestimate how great of the defender that LeBron was in his prime.
No, he's an excellent. Well, see, in his prime was when he was still improving defensively. That's when he kind of got knocked for his defense, and in my opinion, he did fix it. But Michael Jordan's a different animal, though, dude. That's a different thing.
I mean, I don't think that any great player in the NBA can stop another great player. You can only slow them down. So I'm not saying that I don't think anybody can stop anyone, right? Any of the, when we talk about these Kevin Durant's and the Kobe's, and no one ever stopped them. You just slowed them down. I think LeBron in his prime.
Or they had to have an off night.
Yeah, or they had to have an off night. Yeah.
Did Jordan have any off nights?
Of course he did, but you let them these motherfuckers on Twitter tell you he was God and he never missed a shot, he never missed a game winner, he never had an off night, he never did anything.
We grew up in the same neighborhood. I'm always gonna be on Jordan's side.
Oh, yeah, you guys did.
Wilmington.
Yeah. You told me about that. Did you ever see him just walking down the street sometime or something? Like, hey, Michael.
No, he's way older than I am.
Hey, Michael. So there's been a lot of signings going on in the NFL because free agency hit and shit just started rolling. If you didn't know, Alex Seller is actually a great GM. He is a former fantasy football champion of one of our leagues. So it'll be fun to get his take on some of these signings. So Bill Belichick brings Cam Newton back and also gets him some help. So he brings him back on a 1-year, $14 million deal. And they just signed Hunter Henry. They signed Jonnu Smith. They signed Nelson Aguilar, which I don't know how much help that is. But
Hunter Henry's the target.
What do you think about the Patriots moves that they're making so far?
I think it's a reach, man. They lost Brady, and now he's just going to try to grab anything he can to get some wins.
He's got to do what he got to do. I mean, they need help.
Exactly.
They had nothing last year. They need more than that. They signed the 2 top tight ends in free agency and Nelson Aguilar, and then they got some defensive. They got some defensive help which was great. But I'm seeing the signings that they did. They spent the most money in this past couple of days of free agency than they spent almost in the entire time in any year that Tom Brady was there. So he obviously knows that they got work to do and that Cam needed help, which I've been saying about Cam. We were talking about the other day what we thought about Cam coming back and what we thought Cam was capable to do. if he went to another team. And I said he needs help. It's hard to judge a quarterback who's throwing to a bunch of dead bodies in air.
It's not hard for me,
Yep.
and I love Cam, but Tom Brady needed help for 5 or 6 years and went to 2 or 3.
But he never needed as much. Tom Brady never played on the team as depleted as they were last year.
Pretty close. It was pretty close. This is my thing. I think Cam's plenty capable that if he had a lot of weapons around him and enough of an O-line and enough of a defense, they can absolutely be back in the playoffs. But I don't think that's going to happen overnight, obviously. But I think what we're going to see right now is Belichick, who I do think he should be considered the greatest coach ever. I do think he's an incredible coach. But you're going to see right now that you can only deal with what you got on the field. And when you don't have Tom Brady anymore and instead it's Cam Newton there, that's a glaring difference. And until you can draft better, because that has not been a strong point, or do free agency better, we're gonna see the no Tom Brady, Bill Belichick until he can get somebody else in there that can run the system the way he needs it to be run.
Real quick, we are kind of simulcasting on the sports version of Clubhouse. We are on. It's called Locker Room. Shout out to Daniel, Howard, and Patrick, Howard Daniel, who's joining us in the room. Real quick, just to
Celtics
give
fan.
some
Did he
comments.
hear what you said about his Celtics?
Howard said Bill Belichick is pissed. Howard says Bill Belichick is pissed, and he doesn't trust in the development of his backups. Bill Belichick knows that he.
Patrick said, "Yo, what'd he say?"
Patrick, you're gonna have to go back and rewind the tape because we already hit the basketball, the Celtics segment.
I'm gonna let him know what you said just to really piss. No, I'm just kidding, Patrick. But I'm just saying probably what you're already thinking. And shout out to our buddy Rhino, who's a huge Boston and New England area fan. But he's just saying that the Celtics fan are probably very disappointed right now because you guys thought, as we thought, that they would be near the top of the East, more consistent, ready to compete for a championship, and right now they're looking a little shaky. True.
But Bill Belichick is pissed, which I agree, Howard. I think he is pissed at what happened last year, and I think the development of the players that they brought in. But again, they didn't have a lot of help, and I think he went to get Cam some help, which he needed. Cam desperately needed help. You can't really. It's hard to judge a quarterback when he doesn't have anything to throw to. The tight ends that they had the weakest tight end corp. We can't even remember the name of some of those guys that he was throwing to last year, and now he goes and gets them the 2 top free agent tight ends. Hunter Henry is a beast of an ad. That's a great ad for him. And Cam had his best years when he was throwing to who? Greg Olsen, right?
Yeah.
So now you bring Cam back in a situation where he's going to be comfortable. He's going to get some more time in the offseason. He'll get some, if Nelson Aguilar is a big upgrade over what you had, that your situation was really bad in a piss poor wide receiver corp. So that just shows how bad they were in the talent department last season, you know what I mean? For the Patriots. So they definitely needed that. But there were some more free agent signings. Ryan Fitzpatrick signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with Washington, formerly Redskins team. And then you had the Seahawks running back Carlos Hyde reach an agreement with the Jaguars on a 2-year, $6 million deal. And then you had Drew Brees. Wait a minute. The Carlos Hyde deal might be, we don't know. If the Jags get
Trevor You're talking about Jaguars, they're in the Canadian Football League, right?
No. If the Jags get
they an XFL team, did they win?
No. If the Jags get Trevor Lawrence, right? And then they bring in Carlos Hyde, they might be building something over there. You know,
I give you the XFL.
I can't right now. Patrick says the Jags will be 500 or better team next year. I agree, Patrick. I think that The Jags might be. I think the Carlos Hyde thing is a nice ad, and I don't know what the Seahawks are doing. They're supposed to be making Russell Wilson happy, and it looks like they're just pissing him off more.
Yeah, they're not doing that. Also, Patrick, I hope Trent Williams doesn't land anywhere except where he already is. We don't want to lose him, but he does want a lot of money. But I'm hearing the Niners have a huge, like $80 million deal in place for him. We can't lose.
Shit.
We can't lose Trent Williams. We need him.
Yeah, the Niners need all the help they can get. So I'm not sure what they're doing. And it doesn't seem like they're doing a lot in free agency. So we'll see what happens. Drew Brees retired. So shout out Drew Brees, rest in peace. Jameis Winston signs a 1-year deal with the Saints for about $12 million. Listen, man, I think that surprisingly the Saints will be a little bit better this year with Jameis Winston than they were with Drew Brees last year.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
He's so hit or miss, man. Is either on or off.
He was not good. He was not good. He was not good.
Jameis, are you talking about Jameis Winston or Drew Brees, Alex?
I'm talking about.
No, I'm talking about Jameis Winston. He's either on or off, and he's off more than he's on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a believer. I like Jameis Winston. I still watch the video where he did the who's hungry and starts licking his fingers really weird, like, but I just was not a believer.
I think that obviously overall Drew Brees is a better quarterback, but I think at times when they really needed to go for it and they needed a gunslinger and they needed to take shots down the field, they didn't have that, and it's because Drew Brees wasn't really the Drew Brees that we thought he was going to be. And I think that in certain spots, Jameis could have really helped them get a little bit further last year. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see. It seems like, they gave him $12 million. It seems like he's going to go in and be the starter. They aren't really officially calling him the starter. It seems like they're just kind of like, making it like there'll be a quarterback competition between him and the second coming of Tim Tebow over there. But
I'm gonna have to disagree with you. Hearing that Jameis Winston could have helped anything having to do with football.
You guys got to stop shitting on Jameis Winston.
I saw too much.
You guys have to.
I can't believe.
Give Jameis a chance and let's see what he does this year. Okay, so it is March, which means that it is also March Madness, which means the NCAA tournament is underway. Me and JT filled out a bracket. We will be keeping track of our points as they go along. This should be interesting because neither one of us have watched 2 minutes of any college basketball this year.
I haven't watched 10 seconds of a basketball. I haven't watched a highlight.
Me either. Which goes to talk about what we were talking about last week about, all of the big name college kids or high school kids kind of going elsewhere and it hurting the lore of, watching NCAA basketball in the regular season where I remember a year ago, I would tune in to see Zion play on a Wednesday night
no, I just think no one's even talking about it. I mean,
but that's why no one's talking about it.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of talent in college. Like I would normally.
There's just not a lot of big names.
In a normal year, I would be all about Gonzaga, all hyped on Gonzaga right now. Like a small school that's been good for a long time, has a chance to win it all. Like I'd be all into it. You know what I mean? But
I think people aren't talking about it a lot because there's not a lot of there was a lot of big names to talk about the year prior and the year before that. And there's not a lot of big names to talk about. That's the situation that kind of we're in right now. So we'll start with my bracket. I pulled my bracket up. My bracket has so let's start with the Elite Eight, right? The Elite Eight. So I have Gonzaga, Iowa, Baylor, Ohio State, and then I have Michigan, Texas, Oklahoma, and San Diego. San Diego is my little sleeper there. I have San Diego making it to the Final Four, actually.
Alma mater of Kawhi Leonard.
Alma mater of Kawhi Leonard. So we'll see what happens with that. And then I have my Final Four: Iowa, Baylor, Michigan, San Diego, and then I have Iowa and Baylor squaring off in the championship with Baylor winning. JT, let's see where yours is. Pull up your.
Yeah, that is a massive bracket.
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's a massive bracket of teams that I have no idea
Yeah.
at all. Let me
yeah.
bring mine up, but I went crazy with mine because I was like, look, hold on, let me share this here. I was like, look, we don't have any idea, so I'm just gonna go big. I'm gonna do some crazy shit. We'll just go with Elite Eight here. Who some Cinderellas would be? I mean, I have Creighton. They're the 5, not necessarily Cinderella. They're going up against Gonzaga. I've got Oregon getting by Kansas in the Elite Eight to meet Gonzaga. In the Final Four, I've got Colgate making a huge Cinderella run all the way to the Final Four.
So your sleeper is Colgate. My sleeper is San Diego. So we'll keep an eye on those two because those are our 2 sleepers.
I picked Colgate because I'm pretty sure Adonal Foyle went to Colgate, I think, and I also love their toothpaste, so that's why I went with Colgate.
There you go.
And let's see, I got Wisconsin knocking off #1 Baylor. Big upset, but not really, because Wisconsin's got a great program, and Baylor hasn't won anything outside of women's sports in like 35 years.
Yeah.
And then we've got, let's see here, I've got Virginia Tech losing to Ohio State. Let's see here. I got Loyola Chicago shocking, even though they're a higher seed, shocking Georgia Tech, alma mater of Chris Paul. Liberty, another Cinderella going all
Yeah, that's
the
a little Cinderella.
defeating Illinois. I don't even know where the hell Liberty is, Joe. Where is
I don't
it?
either. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. I
They're
could not tell
beating
you.
Illinois, and then they're going to go lose to West Virginia. So says me. And let's
Oh wow.
And your
Final Four: Wisconsin, West Virginia.
you got
Wisconsin, West Virginia,
Gonzaga, Michigan.
Those are safe. That's #1 and #1. But I got Gonzaga winning the whole thing. Finally getting coach, whatever the hell his name is, that's been there forever and had a great program. Finally getting him his
Yeah, I picked Gonzaga last year, which obviously didn't pan out for me. So I like Gonzaga this year. I think when the way my matchup just kind of came out, I came out with Baylor winning it, which I think I think Gonzaga is a solid pick. I also like my Baylor pick. Who was it? Howard over here in our locker room broadcast said his sleeper is Georgetown. But
Oh hell.
I had Georgetown, I think, winning a couple games. They're
I think Georgetown. Yeah, should Georgetown be considered a sleeper though?
Well, they're low ranked, and
What's their rank?
And again, it's hard to say because I have no idea who's on that team.
Yeah, same.
No idea what their squad looks like. I have no idea what their record is, but whatever. Georgetown.
Yeah.
I love Georgetown.
So we'll see, and we'll pay attention to the game start in about a week, I think. So we'll pay attention to how these points tally up. You get, regardless of whether your picks pan out, they give you points on the ESPN tournament app. They give you points, so we'll see who has the most points, and we should, I don't know, put a wager on that or something like that. Okay, let's get to this rapid fire close and get on out of here. LeBron James joins the Fenway group, making him part owner of the Red Sox, which is interesting. That just happened.
Howard chimed in here. Yeah, Chris Paul went to Georgia Tech, I said.
No, Chris Paul went to Wake. Chris Paul went to Wake Forest.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but did Chris Bosh also go to Wake?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so.
I know Tim Duncan went to Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of Stephen Marbury. He went to Georgia Tech.
Yeah. And Allen Iverson. Iverson went to Georgetown. That's what we were just talking about, Georgetown now. So that's fine. Oh, yeah. Howard says Chris Bosh went to Georgia Tech.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Chris Bosh. Okay. Yeah, LeBron joins the Fenway group, and he becomes a part owner of the Red Sox. So shout out to LeBron. He's still playing, but he's already starting his ownership thing. Hopefully he's a better owner than Michael Jordan because he's better at everything else than Michael Jordan.
That's crazy because he's a Yankees fan.
Oh, shit.
Born and raised a Yankees fan.
Yeah, but
Really?
What did he just say about Michael Jordan?
I said hopefully
Same
he's
thing
a better,
he always does.
hopefully he's a better owner than Michael Jordan because he's better at everything else than Michael Jordan. And
Oh,
Michael Jordan is also already not a great owner. So we'll see how that goes. It's not paying out. He doesn't
Well,
seem like he's going to beat LeBron in that either.
At least he owns a team in a sport that he understands.
Well, first of all, excuse you. LeBron James is very knowledgeable about baseball. Okay, he knows that if you have enough money, you can own the team. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua signed a 2-fight deal to unify the heavyweight titles. So this is
that's going to be awesome.
Finally.
Yes.
Finally.
Man, I am a huge Tyson Fury fan.
Yeah.
And I think I really got to say Anthony Joshua might take him in this first one.
Really?
I think so.
I mean, I don't believe in Anthony Joshua at all.
Really?
I don't believe in him at all. At all. What did you see that fat guy knock him out?
Yes.
Ain't no way I'm picking him ever again. I can't unsee it. It happened.
First of all, Andy Ruiz, that fat guy, how dare you? Nickname the Destroyer.
That's the name of his wife's vibrator. Stop it.
Is a beast. And I'm going to say something about the heavyweight division that makes me very, 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 very happy for boxing and for myself, is that we've been in an era where they have not made fights, at least not when the fights should be made. And now we're getting Deontay Wilder not rematching Tyson Fury, which is a bit of a surprise. But
that's what I don't like about this.
But he is going to go fight one of the top guys in the world, and it's getting done.
Yeah.
Joshua Fury's getting done, and they're it's a 2-fight deal. They're going to fight twice, so we're going to see who the best is. And then, meanwhile, Deontay and Tyson Fury can always be there because a lot of people feel Deontay won the first one anyway, because he basically killed him, even though he got up like The Undertaker. And then Tyson Fury clearly won the second one. I mean, this is what boxing is supposed to be. What UFC is. We want to see the fucking fight.
This is all we wanted to see.
This is what we want. Is it too much to ask for to just get the fights when we want the fights, when these guys are in their prime?
Because it's not even a lot of them.
No, not at all.
Fucking fights when they're supposed to fucking happen. Why is my voice so high?
I literally, if you ask me, what fights do you want to see as far as the heavyweight division? I would have told you one of 2 fights. I would have said Tyson fighting Wilder again, or Tyson fighting Joshua. That's it. There wouldn't have been anything else.
Or Deontay fighting anybody because he knocks everybody out.
Or Deontay fighting Anthony, but
I would want to see him fight Tyson Fury again, man.
Yeah,
they called that last fight too early.
No, he was gonna die. I would pay money to see Deontay Wilder fight my grandmother. That's how much I love Deontay Wilder fight.
That's ruthless. That's savage.
Throw hands.
That's savage. I think that I'm excited that we're finally gonna get one of the marquee fights. Like, I don't want to see Tyson Fury fight another, Anthony Ruiz or some guy from Ralph's or the dollar store. I'm tired of seeing those fights. Like, I've been more interested in watching Mike Tyson fight some other old ass fighter. Like, you know what I mean? I want to see these guys actually fight for the belt and really big up the division. And so it's cool. I think that I really want to see the Wilder Tyson Fury fight, the rematch, but I'll take this Anthony Joshua thing. I think Anthony Joshua is a pussy. Like, I just don't. I'm sorry, but I don't believe in him at all. I think he ran from the Wilder fight. He's been running from it. I think he ran from this Fury fight until he couldn't run anymore. And I hope Tyson Fury knocks him out, and so we don't have to talk about this guy anymore. He can go be a bloke over there in London or wherever he's from and do whatever he wants to do, because I'm over it.
Okay.
I too would have ran from both of those fights.
I'm not even a boxer, and I've ran from those fights multiple times. I'm going to make a prediction here. I think Tyson Fury is going to run the table. I think he's going to crush everybody in dominating fashion. And I think he's going to immediately, once he finishes Joshua, and I would say Wilder one more time, will be talked about as possibly the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time.
I think these next fights are going to be important. He has to really dominate Anthony Joshua, and then he has to beat Wilder again, and he would have to win that in a convincing fashion to me.
Well, Well, would he though? Would he already?
I think so.
He already dominated him one fight.
Yeah, but he also died in another fight, so it's a wash. Like,
That's true.
But he didn't die. That's the crazy thing though. He
but did you
got
die?
back up.
He got up.
But did you die? Okay.
Man, I just like the underdog for it, man.
Yeah.
It would be awesome to see him win, I think.
Yeah. Hopefully they set these dates quick so we can see him. The Bucks extend. The Bucks. What'd you say?
We got William in the room. What's up,
What's
William?
up? What's up, William? Welcome in. The Bucks have extended Tom Brady to 2022. Giving him a $20 million signing bonus to lessen their cap hit, so they can try to shore up some of these other free agencies that they had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're not stupid.
Yeah, they're not stupid. Yeah, it was really a money thing for them because they had to re-sign Shaq Barrett and all these other free agency. They're probably going to lose Ndamukong Suh because he's going to want to get paid. They can't pay everybody. They got to bring back Antonio Brown. They brought back Gronk. And it's going to be cap hit after cap hit. So who knows what's going to happen with them in free agency, because they haven't really been active as far as like free agents that haven't already been on the team. And you talk about
when you win chips, you don't need to.
Yeah, but you do need to, because that's the Super Bowl hangover. The Super Bowl hangover is not getting better, and everybody else got better. Everybody else getting better.
For sure, but you also got OJ Howard coming back. I think they lost one of their key defensive guys near the end of the year. So yeah, he might be winning championships till he's 50.
I don't know about that. So we got to talk about real quick the Grammys were this past weekend. They did it a virtual thing, which is kind of weird, kind of cool at the same time. But every year they're doing this. Everybody does this Grammy snub uproar mess where everybody's upset and everybody's coming out. You know, The Weeknd came out and it's fuck the Grammys, and then Lil Wayne is fuck the Grammys, and Nicki Minaj is fuck the Grammys. Everybody's fuck the Grammys until they win one.
Until they're nominated.
Until they're nominated. Then it's not.
As a recording artist, I think the Grammys are bullshit. I think they can shove all their awards up their ass, and I really, really hope to be nominated and win one day.
Yeah, exactly.
You, along with every other recording artist, like what? I'm over this thing of, if I don't win a Grammy, there's something wrong with them.
Yeah, everybody's owed something, man.
Everybody is owed something, and I don't get it. Like, everybody can't win. If everybody won, they would just be participation trophies, and it wouldn't mean anything.
It's the same thing we saw with COVID. Why people get so extreme on each side? It's because it's being politicized on both sides. So instead of getting the real shit, so we can all make decisions together for the betterment of everybody, it's got to be so extreme on one side. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with the Grammys. Or how about the Oscars? The year that we had Denzel and Halle Berry won, like there was never a black actor that should have won Best Fucking Actor before. We just had to, and they put in great performances, but they had to win that year because that was the year that black people had to win. No, every year was a year that black people could have won.
Yeah.
But instead we're sitting here overdoing it, just like what we're going to do for shit like the Grammys when Norah Jones wins, and not that she didn't make good music, or Taylor Swift wins, Taylor Swift, but there's other pieces of work going out there that probably deserve it more. But because of issues that happened that year, or a movie that came out that fit the song and all this bullshit, that's what's going to win.
But I want people to make up their mind of what they want, right? Because that was you brought up the Norah Jones, and
that's what
the same thing happened with I can't remember the girl who won. She's from Berkeley too, the bass player from Berkeley. I can't believe I'm forgetting her name, but she won Best New Artist in the year that Bieber was up for it. And she got destroyed, as if she gave herself the Grammy. She got destroyed. She got destroyed for it, right? And so people are going, do you want it to be a popularity contest, or do you want it to be about the music and on merit, right? Because you get upset when your favorite artist doesn't win a Grammy, but then when a guy who you've never heard of, whose music might be amazing, win a Grammy, you're also upset, right? So people just want to be pissed off. Like, I don't know.
Well, this is an issue that I will say is a legitimate issue in that, do you give it to somebody like 50 Cent or Kanye who came out and did historical things, one with numbers, which means the people are feeling the music, first of all, and second of all, doing things that have never been done even musically, which Kanye has definitely done and plenty of artists have definitely done? Or do you give it to the different thing that was bold enough to be different and unique and just was great? Do you give it to the best work, like Steely Dan?
Yeah, see, to me,
give it to the best shit.
To me, if you know the inner workings of the music industry, you giving numbers to me about about how much a song did doesn't move me, and it doesn't tell me that it's a good song. It tells me that that song had a lot of money behind it, had a lot of powerful players behind it, and a lot of people who pushed buttons to get a song there, right?
But what if it's like Kanye, who did amazing numbers but also was doing musical shit that hadn't been done before?
There's definitely nuance. There's definitely nuance to it. But when you're a Nicki Minaj fan and all you want to do is tell me how many times her album went platinum, and that's the reason why it should have won, it's not a numbers contest. That's an award. There's an award for that. It's called the Nielsen SoundScan Award, and they give you an award for winning, for going platinum 20 times, right? That's the plaque that goes on your wall, right? That's not the Grammys. And if we wanted it turns into a different award when we start complaining about, I sold 10 million records. How come I didn't win a Grammy? That's the Weeknd's issue. The Weeknd was, and now he's fucked the Grammys because he has a gazillion spins and wasn't nominated. Well, you're not nominated because there was better music. And is there a political side to it? 100%. Just like there's a political side to everything on earth, right? Do you have to?
Yes.
There is a committee, right? And my boss is a part of the committee. Full disclosure. My boss at the label that I do A&R for at Deep Row Records, Adam Anders, is a voter, right? He's one of the few voters that I know about, that I know their name. Like, I know the people who are voting on these Grammys. I used to actually, when I was an intern, not an intern, but when I had just started for him, it used to actually be my job to deliver his vote downtown to the Recording Academy's office, right? And so I know that there is a certain amount of shaking hands and kissing babies that has to go on for you to maybe be a little bit seen in a favorable light, right? But that's true in every aspect of life, right?
Oh, for sure.
In every aspect of life. So the idea that the Grammys should be set apart in the only organization in life where there is no finessing, there is no shaking hands. It's the reason why Alicia Keys is nominated every year, even though she doesn't put out music. She hasn't put out a song in 20 years. Somehow she wins 10 Grammys every year.
I'm gonna say
because
that
Kurt plays for her.
I'm gonna say this because I'm at 1% battery and it's about to die.
Okay.
But I would like to say, finishing on the Grammys, if Bruno Mars, Chris Stapleton, Jay-Z, or Beyonce releases an album in any given year and they don't win Album of the Year or at least Song of the Year, y'all are stupid and fucking assholes.
No. It cannot work like that. But
yes, it can work like that.
It cannot work like that.
Yes, it can.
But with that being said, Alex Seller, thank you so much for joining the show today. Please tell the people where they can watch and subscribe and support anything that you got coming up.
My Instagram, I'm actually not that great with it. I play guitar for Sam Grow. You can look at his.
You can look at his.
Yeah, I post like once a month.
There it is. So you can follow him. What is your Instagram and your Facebook?
It's at Alex_Seller.
Okay, at Alex_Seller. For JT Harker, he's at JT Harker on Instagram, and you can just search JT Harker, HARKER, on all other social media. I'm at Joe Connor 33 on everything pretty much. Make sure you like and subscribe to us on YouTube. We are recording this on YouTube as of right now, and it will go live on YouTube tomorrow. So make sure you guys check that out. Join us next time. We'll be doing this. This was our first time going live on Locker Room, which is the sports version of Clubhouse, pretty much. So join us next Tuesday. We'll be here same time live, recording the podcast and going live on Locker Room. It was fun. Thank you, Howard. Thank you to some of the other guys who chimed in, Joshua, Patrick, who joined us on Locker Room. Thank you, guys. Make sure you go to wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Spotify, iHeart, or whatever, and give us a follow and stream and check out the full show. Some of you guys popped in and out, so thank you for that. And just make sure you go follow and support us on these other platforms, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you can get us. Make sure you go and support. Thank you, Alex Seller. JT it had to exit a little early, so he thanks you as well. Thank you guys for listening. We will be back next week. Until next time, be safe and be great. Peace.
Backstage Sports.